Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to math class. We are going to get started on reviewing our chapter 12, geometry, for our test. So we'll have 1 or 2 days of review and then we'll take our test. And it'll be multiple choice. So I hope that this helps you and gets you ready for your quiz questions. All right, so our chapter 12 review starts on page 753. So if you could please go to page 753, this will be really helpful to you. All right, so chapter 12 review starts off with which words describes this shape. Mark all that apply. So we want to look at polygon. We know polygons are closed figures that are made up of line segments. And so we see that this shape is a closed figure and it's only made up of line segments, so that works for us. So we can definitely choose polygon. Open shape, when we look at it, we see all the sides are closed, so it does not qualify for an open shape. Pentagon, so you have to think to yourself, how many sides does a pentagon have? So when you go through, you can count your sides. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you think to yourself, okay, it is a 5-sided shape, so it does classify as a pentagon. And then a quadrilateral, think to yourself, quad. Quad means 4, and we already counted our sides, and there are 5, so it does not qualify as a quadrilateral. Question number 2. Umberto drew one side of a quadrilateral. We just talked about what a quad is, and a quad has 4 sides with 4 equal sides. So now we know it has 4 equal sides and no right angles. So it looks like they're going to either be acute or obtuse angles. So we are going to use this line to help us draw 4 equal. So we see that it goes 1, 2, 3. It goes through 1, 2, 3 boxes, and it ends up on this line. So we're going to kind of that. Now I definitely should have used a straight line. So it would be really great if you have a ruler to take it and draw it out. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But you can see mine needs to be moved just a hair. I didn't make it correct. So make sure you're drawing, really looking at it. So then we have to go to here because we want to go straight down. So hopefully you can see where you need that to land. Right here, finding a line of symmetry right in the center. Hopefully you ended up with a rhombus because all 4 sides are the same. And you know a rhombus is a square that's smushed to the side. So then it says draw the other 3 sides to complete. We just did that, so hopefully you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 sides. All right, so we're going to keep on going. Mikkel saw a painting that included this shape. Hopefully you can see if you drew your lines out, they would intersect. We have parallel, parallel, 90-degree angle, 90-degree angle. So now once we've looked at it, we should be able to answer some questions. For numbers 3A to 3D, select true or false for each statement about the shape. So we just looked at the shape, we talked about the shape, we see what kind of lines it has, what kind of angles it has. So now you go through and you answer these questions. The shape has no right angles, true or false. The shape has 2 angles greater than a right angle. The shape has two right angles. The shape has one angle greater than a right angle. So you should be able to look and see that the shape has no right angles. Absolutely, that would be false, because we can see that it has two right angles, so that's false. The shape has two angles greater than a right angle, two angles that are greater than a right angle. So hopefully you're able to see, and you saw that it was false. Okay. The shape has two right angles, one angle, two angle. That would be true. And then the shape has one angle that is greater than a right angle. You should be able to see this one right here is greater than. Right there. That's an obtuse, so that is true. Okay, we're going to keep on going. So it says Fran used a Venn diagram to sort shapes. You have part A. Draw another plane shape that belongs inside the left circle here of the diagram, but not in the section where they overlap. So this is a Venn diagram. We know we have comparing and contrasting. So hopefully you're able to compare and contrast these different shapes. So we see here that we have polygons with right angles. This is a scalene and it has a right angle right here. And we have two right angles here. So polygons with right angles. So then this has right angles. And this one has right angles. So these are in the shared. These all have right angles, which means these ones over here do not have any right angles. They are right here. These are quadrilaterals. These are four sides, so they're quadrilaterals and they have right angles. And these ones are just quadrilaterals that have four line segments. So we have to draw something that cannot go in the overlap. So it cannot be a quadrilateral and it cannot have a right angle. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. And it can't be in the overlap. So over here it has to be, it can have a right angle. So draw something that belongs on the left-hand side. These have right angles, but they can't be quadrilateral. So it can be right angles, but not a quadrilateral. So draw something that's not a quad. So draw another plane shape that belongs inside the left circle, but not in a section where they overlap. So I have a polygon with a right angle, so I have a right angle, but if I count them, I can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So mine's not a quadrilateral, but it does have some right angles and it is a hexagon. Part B, how can you describe the shapes in the section where the circles overlap? So you could definitely say the shapes, so I have to pull up. You could definitely say the shapes are quadrilaterals with 4 right angles, which are right here. 4 right angles and they are quadrilaterals. Match the object on the left column with its name on the right column. Oh, we haven't done these in a while, so this is fun. All right, so we're going to have to go back and use some of our knowledge from when we started at the very beginning of geometry. So this has an arrow on both sides. And your choices are a point, a line, a ray, or a line segment. So this one here and this one here look a lot alike except for the ending. So you got to really look at that. So this right here would be, hopefully you see, it is a line. Then we have two little dots on the end, so that is a line segment. This, if you added a shape right here, and then you would have this coming out, if we had this colored in orange, it would look like the sun. So it would be a ray, because it's like a ray of light coming from the sun. And then this one's really simple. It's your Okay, down below, describe the angles and sides of this triangle. So hopefully you see that these angles right here are not 90-degree angles. So if I drew up a line, you would see this angle is inside a 90-degree angle, and this one isn't a 90-degree angle. It's inside the 90-degree angle, and that would be the same for this one. So these are all acute little angles. And you could see that, and I'll do the little tick marks like they were talking about before, whereas you would have this line segment and this line segment. These two line segments are equivalent, so this is an isosceles triangle. Which words describe the shape? Mark all that apply. So we know what a square can be. So a square can be a rectangle, but a rectangle cannot be a square. So hopefully you see that you have that square can be a rectangle. Hopefully you remember that a square can also be a rhombus, but not all rhombus are square. Hopefully you see that this square has 4 sides, so it is a quadrilateral, and obviously all sides are the same, so it is also a square. All right, let's keep going. It says divide each shape into number of equal parts. So we need to make sure maybe we have a ruler. Then write the fraction that describes each part of the whole. So this one wants to have 3 equal parts. So you can draw it straight down, or you could have done it across this way. And then you would have a fraction, and your fraction would be 1/3. This one says 6 equal parts. So hopefully you have a ruler so you can divide it into 6 equal parts. I always like to go for the first one, just draw it straight across so you can see right here, straight across, you have a trapezoid here and a trapezoid here, 2 of the exact same size trapezoids. Now so if you could turn your book, you'd be able to see that you could go from here to here, and there's a trapezoid here and a trapezoid here. So then you take this and you go to the exact opposite side, and hopefully you can see on this side is the same trapezoid as here. And now you have, hopefully you can see that you have 6 equal parts. So each part is 1/6 of this hexagon. So then we have 8 equal parts. If you just cut it right in half, and then you can use your multiplication. So if you cut it in half, you have 2, and we know that 2 times 4 is 8. So then you cut it in half again, cut the half in half, and then cut the other half in half. And then you should have 4 and 4 equal parts, and then each part would be equal to 1/8. So hopefully you have divided each shape into the number of equal parts shown and then write the fraction. For number 9, Han drew a triangle with one angle greater than a right angle. For numbers 9A through 9D, choose yes or no to tell whether the triangle should be the right or the triangle that Han drew. So right here, he drew a triangle with one angle greater than a right angle. So if you look at this, this is an isosceles triangle. And if you look at every single angle, they are not, those are not greater than a right angle. So that would be no. Looking right here, look at this angle and this angle. Are those greater than a right angle? Hopefully you can see these are acute little angles, and this is an exact right angle. So this one would also be no. Look at 9C. Okay, you can see that this and this angle, if you drew a line up here and a line up here, both of these angles would be acute angles. But if you look here at this one and you drew a line down, you could see that this is larger, greater than a 90-degree angle. So that one would be yes. And then if you look at this angle, that's a cute little angle, and that's a cute little angle. But this angle is spread out. It's kind of like somebody stepped on it and smushed it out, spread it out. So that would be also yes, it's greater than a 90-degree angle. Okay, so number 10, we are looking at this group of pattern blocks. Hopefully you're looking at this. You're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 line segments put together to form a closed figure that is a hexagon. We have a four-sided shape, all sides the same. So that would be a square. All four sides are the same, but it's smushed. So it's a square smush. So that's a rhombus. You have an isosceles triangle. All sides are the same. You have a diamond. And then you have a trapezoid, a quadrilateral that is a trapezoid. Sort the pattern blocks by size. How many groups did you make? Explain how you sorted your shapes. So go ahead and look at those shapes and see how you can sort these shapes by their size. So I'll give you a second. Pause the video. Okay. Hopefully when you came back and you turned the video back on, you saw that you could have 3 groups. Maybe you could sort the shapes by the number of sides. So maybe put these ones that have 4 sides. And then you could have this be in its all by itself and all by itself. So you have hexagon, triangles, and then quadrilaterals. Let's see, you could, well, that's about, oh, how about, yeah, that's about it. That's all I can think of are the 3 groups. I don't know if you guys came up with anything more, a little more clever, but that's what I came up with. The hexagon all by itself, the triangle all by itself, and then the quadrilaterals all by themselves. Sometimes you guys come up with some better ideas than I do. You're a little more creative. Part B, sort the pattern blocks by angles. How many groups did you make? So now you got to go back and do angles. All right, so pause the video. I'm going to sort mine by angles and you sort yours by angles. Okay, so for the angles, I came up with 2 different groups. I sorted the shapes by whether they had an angle that was greater than a right angle, and then triangles and squares that do have angles that are that do not have angles that were greater than a right angle. So I did mine with greater than or right angles. Okay, and then B, sort the pattern blocks by angles. How many groups did you make? We just did that. I have to go down. Teresa drew a quadrilateral that has 4 sides of equal length and no right angles. Okay, so you've got to think about that one. So equal length, no right angles. So that I would think you guys would have come up with a rhombus. All right, we're going to keep going. We're going to turn the page. Hopefully you guys are following along. All right, Rhea used this Venn diagram to sort her shapes. What label could she use for this side of the circle? So we have polygons with all sides of equal length. So this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a hexagon, a equilateral triangle, and this one looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, an octagon. All sides are equal. A square, all sides are equal. But then over here, these sides are not equal. So they're all over here. Now we've got right angle, right angle, right angle, right angle, right angle, right angle, right angle. So that could be a hint. So think about how you want to do yours. So looking kind of interesting. So I came up with polygons with right angles over here. All right, so we're going to move on. These all had right angles. I don't know if you came up with something else. So then we have Colette drew lines to divide the rectangle into equal parts that each represent 1/6 of the whole area. So now we're talking fractional parts. And we know fractions mean equal parts. Right here we have equal parts. So her first line is already shown. She took this rectangle and she cut it straight across. Now she needs 6 equal parts. So you think to yourself, 6 times, or what times 2 equals 6? So hopefully you're doing division in your head, 6 divided by 2, and that's going to give you 3. So you would need 3 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hopefully that's what you got. All right. We're going to move on to 14. Brad drew a quadrilateral. Here's his quadrilateral. Select the pairs of sides that appear to be parallel. Mark all that apply. So this is actually called a parallelogram because none of the sides will ever intersect. So look at A and B. A and B. Are these parallel or do they form an angle right here? So hopefully you're not choosing A and B. B and D, there's B and D, and if you follow them up, they will never intersect, so those are parallel. So hopefully you're choosing that one. A, C and A, there's C and A. They are absolutely parallel. And D and C, 2 line segments come together and they form an angle, so that one would not work. 15, give 2 reasons that this shape is not a polygon. Hopefully you know that polygons, the shape has a curve in it and it is open, so that breaks 2 of the rules. Polygons are closed shapes made of line segments. 16, the triangle at the right has one angle greater than a right angle. It has one angle greater than a right angle. What statement describes the other angles? Okay, so the triangle at the right has one angle greater than a right angle. So let's find that. There it is right there. You can see it's open. What statements describe the other angles? So we're looking at this angle and this angle. So at least one is less than a right angle. Okay, well, let's look at that. Do you have one angle less than a right angle? Yes. Do you have Another angle that is less than a right angle? Yes, so at least one is less than a right angle. That is true. One is a right angle. Does anybody see any right angles here? No. Both are less than a right angle. Absolutely, we said both of those are less than a right angle. One is greater than a right angle. And no, both of these are less than a right angle. They already spoke about this one. We were not looking at this one. We were only looking at the two other angles. Okay, so A and C work. Ava drew a quadrilateral with two pairs of opposite sides that are parallel. Two sides of opposite sides that are parallel. The shape has at least two right angles. Draw a shape that she could have drawn. So get out your pencil and get drawing. All right, so I'm going to draw a shape. And I'm going to check to see if I got it. A quadrilateral. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sides. Two pairs of opposite sides that are parallel. One set, two sets. That is correct. That a rectangle works. So think to yourself, does a square work? Does a rhombus work? Does a diamond work? All of those work because it's a quadrilateral with 4 sides and two pairs of the opposite sides are parallel. For 18, A to D, select true or false for each description of this ray. Remember, if you were to draw a circle here, let me find my circle. I lost my circle. If I drew a circle here, well, that's supposed to be a circle, then it would be the sun, and this would be a ray of light. That's how you remember this little dot. If you expanded it out, it would be the sun. And we know the sun gives rays of light. Well, it's Western PA, so we really haven't seen the sun lately, but it's coming. So, is it straight? Absolutely, it is straight. Does it have two endpoints? It does not have two endpoints. Is it part of a line? Well, what do you think? I would say that is true also. And it continues in one direction. Yes, this is an endpoint, so it stops. And it does continue on. Okay. Great job today. I hope that helped. I'm going to hopefully go over again a little bit more of a review tomorrow. This was your textbook review. I think we'll do a little review tomorrow and then we'll test either on Wednesday or Thursday. I hope you had a great math lesson. I miss you all. Take care.